For this sample, we're going to be doing square corners. So I have given you a diagram to copy off onto your fabric. You'll need to copy this off in chalk. So if you can see it, it's in yellow. It's very light, but I've copied off my diagram. I'm starting with 2 layers of fabric. We always want to stitch on 2 layers. And then I will start from the outside, follow my chalk line, and work my way towards the center of the diagram. These will get harder as we go because the lines will get shorter, so it's going to take more control over your speed. And then we will be learning how to turn a corner as well. Okay, make sure that you pin the outside edges of your pieces of fabric together again so that they do not shift on you while you're working. At no point do you want to stitch over a pin. So if you get too close to a pin while you're stitching, just make sure to take it out. You don't want it to go under your foot. It could potentially break off and the little tip of the needle can be dangerous if that goes flying. Okay, so I'm going to find the outside start edge of my diagram. Start with my chalk line right in the center of my foot, just like we did on the straight lines. And we're going to start with a back stitch. We want those as short as possible. So control your speed. And then I'm going to follow straight down my chalk line. Again, if a pin starts to get in the way, like right here, I don't want to stitch over it, so I'm just going to take it out. Another pin. When you get down to a corner, you want to stop with your needle directly in the corner. So you can do that manually with your wheel over on the right hand side of your machine. You can hand crank that needle the last stitch or two so that you can make sure that you're getting right in the corner of the fabric. You don't want to pass it up or start short or stop short. So once you get to that corner and you've got your needle down, you can lift up your foot and pivot and go to the next side of the corner. Make sure that your needle is down, because if you don't have it down, when you pick up your foot, you will lose your spot, your fabric will shift, and you won't be directly on the corner anymore. So follow along again to the next corner. If you need to, you can hand crank that last stitch or two. Make sure your needle is down, and then pivot. Just work your way towards the center, controlling the speed of your machine with the pressure that you put on the pedal, and then also don't forget about that motor, the knob on the motor underneath your machine. You can turn that up or down to control the speed of the machine. This should be one continuous line from start to finish. So I shouldn't see any back stitches in the center of your diagram, only at the beginning and end. you're going to have to go much slower on those last few segments towards the center because they're so short. Okay, this is my center, so I'm going to stop and do my back stitch to end, and then I can pull it off. If yours immediately doesn't pull off like this, just turn your wheel towards you a bit until it releases. That means that the thread underneath on the bobbin hasn't fully unhooked. So you just need to turn your wheel a bit more until it fully releases. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of a good corner. So we've got here a pretty good corner. You want these to be 90-degree angles. You don't want them to be little pinched angles, and you don't want them to be curved angles. So I've got another example over here of a pour one. So that is a curved corner. We do not want that, okay? So again, on this one, I'm going to be grading to make sure that it's one continuous line, that your lines are parallel to each other, and that your corners are 90-degree angles.